first of all, we have to congratulate you on your recent Critics' Choice nomination. Both you and Sam got one, which is pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think either of us were expecting that, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only have you been nominated by the Hollywood Foreign Press, you and the show and Tobias and Sam missed out that year, but now all the critics have kind of started to join the party, so to speak. And I'm just wondering if you can take us back to that morning when you found out you were nominated. It was a surprise. Tell us about that.
I'm trying to even remember where we were. I think we were shooting. Yeah, we were shooting, and I think we just I got emails from the team across the pond in LA, and I mean, I was pretty bowled over. The rest of the women in that category are kind of amazing, and a lot of them I've looked up to for many, many years. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, there's days like that I don't even know what to say about it. I'm like, whoa, that's very cool.
At least you got it. That's cool. So you're currently shooting season 3 in Scotland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was wondering if it would be possible for you to just tell us everything. That would be really good. We don't have to ask you any more questions.
Sure.
If you tell everything,
I actually have a big stack of scripts here. I was just going to start reading them. Is that okay?
This will be the most viewed podcast
ever in the history of the universe ever. Yeah.
Scene 1 at 1. Yeah. I will get fired.
Yeah, you may not. I don't think they can do the show without you. So look, that's my view. That's my argument. But I guess it's not going to be working.
I'm sure they'll find my way.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Amanda, have you got any questions? Go for it.
Yeah. Can you give us a little tease, maybe, about Jamie and Claire's reunion, if there is one in season 3?
Yeah, there isn't one. I mean, we decided that we'd really draw it out. We'd just do a whole season of each of them in different places. We thought we might do it for 2 seasons, so they'll reunite maybe in season 6, maybe 5. No. Yeah, I guess the first couple of episodes, they are apart. So I have no idea what Sam was doing. But, with Claire, you'll see her in Boston, some with Frank, quite a bit with Brianna, which I think is really nice that you get to see that relationship really kind of solidify. And it was great to work with Sophie on that stuff. But then, there will be a reunion, but I can't really say much about it. But I think the fans will be happy.
Speaking of the time jump, since that's going to be like a big part of it, how are you guys handling that for next season?
It's been interesting because obviously, we're doing some 40s, some 50s, some 60s. And it's been quite a challenge to try and tell this, great journey, not only of Claire and her life, but, the relationship between Claire and Frank and, what has become of that. And when you're kind of dipping in and out of someone's life and just showing vignettes, it's a challenge because you want to be able to give it real life. You want to be able to show that this is a relationship that has arcs and turns, and it's not all one this or it's not all one that. And that's been, it's been the challenge, but it's also been really fun and exciting for me and for, I guess, Tobias and I when we've been doing those scenes. But there's some really good stuff, I think people will be happy.
And then you guys are moving away from the Highlands at some point, I suppose, given anyone who's read the books knows that you're moving to a more tropical destination, right? What can you tell us about that so far? Anything at all?
Well, Jamaica in the books is going to be South Africa in Outlander world. So yeah, we'll be filming in South Africa next year. I don't know too much. I mean, obviously I've read the book, but in terms of what the scripts are like, we haven't seen those yet. So we're as much in the dark as anybody else. But I think, the great thing about the show is it feels every season there's so much that's new. And in some ways it feels like a completely different show from one element to the next, that it just keeps things really fresh for us, and we're constantly on our toes, and we're constantly excited about what's coming around the corner. And I think that's a great place to be as an actor or anyone at work, to be just constantly rejuvenated, I guess, by the newness of it all.
So Outlander is probably one of the most romantic shows on television right now. What are some of like the lighter aspects of shooting those scenes that you have?
Lighter as in, I think it's to play a great love story is, it's amazing in many ways. I mean, obviously the show has some dark moments and quite tragic moments, but to be in a place where you get to emote these beautiful big feelings and live in that happy space, it's not bad. It's a pretty nice place to be. But I think for us it's always trying to, as much as it is a sort of a fantasy and there is an element of that relationship that's really aspirational, I think what we're always trying to do is make it feel as real and as human as possible. You don't want to put them so much on a pedestal that it doesn't affect you, or you don't buy into it and you don't believe it. So, it's always that's the kind of challenge with it, I guess.
And, like, for example, the season 2 finale was really quite romantic. It ended on a really positive and kind of happy note, so to speak, at the Stones, for example. And I always wonder, because sometimes it's not very cool to be romantic and whimsical so boldly like Outlander is. Do you feel that you guys wear that with pride? Is that something that you really look forward to doing?
I don't know if it's so integral to our show that this is what it is. I mean, I think that the difficulty is to ground it, right? Because, even though you want those big moments to really sell, but you have to honestly believe it and feel it yourself. And, I think there's a place in the TV landscape for something like this. And I'm proud of that we're putting it out there and that people seem to have connected to it. And, I love that part of our show. And I think it's important that we embrace it, but, it is important to, I don't know, to kind of ground the fantasy element of it, I guess. Does that answer your question?
Amanda, go for it.
Well, because of how romantic the show is, you have some of the most devoted fans on television. What I have to ask, what's been your weirdest fan interaction so far?
Oh, I had one recently, and I went to Iceland for a long weekend, which was amazing. But I was at the Blue Lagoon, and I'm in the changing rooms afterwards, and I'm getting dressed, but very early on in the start of that, and these 2 lovely women from New York were staring at me, and I was like, am I in their way? What am I doing? Do they need to go to the locker? And they were like, you're the girl, you're from Outlander. And so I was not quite dressed and having this fan interaction, and I was almost going to be like, is the reason you recognize me because I don't have my clothes on? I don't know. But, it was very sweet, but it was slightly strange. But yeah. They were lovely. They were very nice.
See, I could just imagine how bizarre that would be, just to be, spoken to whilst changing, let alone someone recognizing me from TV. I'm sure you're used to that. You get that every day now. You're a big star now, but
no, it's very quiet over here. People in Scotland, they don't care. So yeah, they're quite nice.
Yeah, whatever.